Well, hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxshire, on the show this evening. It's the one and only Billy Boy and the legend. Yes, the legend. That is the old bear. Evening, Billy Boy.
Good evening, Ox. Good evening, old bear. Good evening, everybody.
Evening, old bear. Oh, he's doing a bridge, Billy. He's doing a bridge.
One, buddy.
Yeah, that up for me, old bear. Come on, then. You'll be with us in a minute. How's things, Billy?
Aye, sound, mate. I'm good, bud. Good. And enjoying the sun. Looking forward to the show, mate.
How does the sunshine affect your hobby?
Oh, you get a good tan. You get a good tan, mate. You're all right. As long as you've got a hat on and shades, you're right enough.
All right, good. What you been making of the club, mate? It's been frustrating and disappointment, ultimately. Yeah, I think Albert's just messaged me.
So that's technology, isn't it?
What's your thoughts, Billy?
61 and 60 the next, isn't it, type thing. I mean, we all can see with our own eyes what's going on. Didn't get me wrong, there've been a lot of good things and a lot of bad things as well, Ox, you know what I mean? We're generating money, we're doing this, we're doing that. But the bottom line here is it's a product and a part that we're all interested in. And that's where we're falling down at this moment in time. We didn't see any signs of improvement. We've come through pre-season, we've played 9 domestic games, be it in 4 in the league in different competitions, be it European qualifiers type thing, in the League Cup and whatnot. But we're not showing any signs or any great signs moving forward. And that's what's frustrating for myself. What's that, Ox?
We're excusing the goalkeeper. Even though he's lost a lot of goals, I think everybody's excusing the goalkeeper. You agree, Billy?
Aye, definitely.
So you've got the midfield, you've got the attack and the defence. In your opinion, what part's not functioning?
A lot of it.
Right, okay, but divide it up and what's 1, 2 or 3? If you had to fix one first, what would it be?
Well, we're first and foremost, you've got to you've not to concede goals. That's the bottom line. So you've got to sort of.
How can you not concede 4 goals as long as you score 6?
Nah, listen, it's no Brazil. We're no Brazil. You know what I mean? Oh. I'm not buying that at all. That one, Ox. You know what I mean? We'll score 4. They'll score 4. We'll score 5. It may be entertaining, but that's no for me. That you need to get your back 4 sorted out first. Get the spine of the team sorted out, and then ball round about the midfield and get people that's got to put the ball in the back of the net. So, if you're got to give cheap goals away constantly, you're always got to put pressure in the team. I mean, the all saying is you defend for the front, and rightly so. But there's defending for the front and defending for the front. You know, that's the way I see it anyway, Ox. You've got to get your back 4 settled, and you've got to stop leaking cheap goals. I mean, if you get beat with a bit of brilliance or a great football move, you put your hands up and say, well, you know what I mean, you were outdone there, or you were out fox, pardon the pun. But if you're getting cheap goals away with cheap silly mistakes and all that, then you know what I mean, you're putting yourself on the back foot right away.
Okay. Evening, Albert. Pete, I'll forever hold your peace. So right, okay, but what is the game no change, Billy? The way that people play. I mean, when you played, with the old Tomlinson T-ball and that, the goalkeeper wouldn't take a goal kick, pass it to his centre half 5 yards for the goal, who passed it right across the goal to his mate. The game's changed, mate.
You wouldn't just hoof it up the park and expect a flick on and the wee boy gets in behind him and you're putting the ball in the pokey, you know. So tactics and formats and formations and game philosophy, game management, you know what I mean? The list is endless. We could go on and on and on and on and on all night. You know what I mean? Then people the different players are playing in different triangle shapes. You know what I mean? All the park gets broken down into different segmentations of the park and whatnot. You know, so it's completely changed for then. But listen, you still, I always like to comment that Pelé made. He says football's easy, it's the players that make it difficult, and I think that's what we're doing. You know, we're making it difficult for ourselves.
Is that coming? And I don't go right in it, but is that coming from the manager? Is he overcomplicating? Is the message getting too complicated for the players?
I believe so, Ox, definitely. I believe so. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that this nucleus of players are the greatest bunch that's ever been at Rangers, but they're definitely, individually when you look at them, there's definitely the majority of them have got something about them. I mean, I think we need a manager, Ox, to manage the players, not a new manager with a complete set of new players, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? We need a good manager in place that's going to coach the players properly and get the best out of them, and both individually and collectively, to take us forward. There's no point in a good group of footballers and then you've got Michael Beale's a coach, isn't he? A coach to coach the players. We're not looking for it. We want a manager to manage the players, in my book, and that's the way it is, and that's the way we're only going to get better. Because if we keep continuing and staggering down this road, as we've said a million times, Ox, the movie only ends one way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a results-driven industry and also performance. Right, I'm going to play devil's advocate against you. I think the game's moved on. Yeah, you'll win games 1-0, but ultimately, the game's about scoring goals, and now in modern football, you're looking to score more than one goal to win a football match. You know, and our problem, and I just think it's for a wee tell, in a lot of games we've struggled to score goals in the last, I'll say domestically, the last year. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what brings in problems. If you score goals, it changes the way you play. It takes the pressure off the defence. Yeah, if you still make the rickets and you're 3-0 up, they've not looked at the same. You know, but I accept that most great teams in the past have been built for the back. I accept that, Billy, but I think our biggest problem is we're not scoring enough goals. I know we've got other problems, but I think that's our biggest problem.
No, we're not scoring enough goals. We're definitely no. And the way we're started as well, we're not creating chances, which is concerning as well. That's a big issue too. You could say to yourself, well, if you're creating 25, 30 chances in a game and you're sticking 5 of them away in the net and the other 50, you've got 15 on target, you could say, well, you're headed in the right direction. But we're not creating chances as well. And it's as if it's going right through the full team. You know what I mean? There's a lack of confidence there. We look disjointed type thing. You know, I mean, the back four's no Damon. But the back four they're individual errors happening all the time. You know what I mean? They're not playing as a unit. There's between the defence to the midfield, there's big massive gaps, and then the same again for our midfield to our strikers or whatever formation Michael Beale's trying to play. You know what I mean? But a big thing for me is we're not creating chances, and if you're not creating chances, you're not going to score goals. I mean, you could take the best player in the world playing with your team. You know what I mean? But if his man marked out the game, he's got to be nullified as well, and you'll still not score goals. You know, so I mean, it's a vicious circle we're in. But something has to change, Ox, for the better. Something's got to change, eh?
Listen, I've not enjoyed this season. I've not enjoyed it for the pre-season. I enjoyed the second half in Hoffenheim. I thought we'd done well against Newcastle. It was a reasonable test for us, and we thought, okay, this could go okay. But you take that away, mate, it's been dreadful. Dreadful fare, dreadful football, dreadful shape, dreadful teamwork, dreadful defending at times. Shocking in midfield and poor up front, mate.
That's right. That's right, Ox. It's been an absolute eyesore, hasn't it? You know what I mean? When we watch the games and that, and we're sitting here, we're all watching the Rangers together, and we're sitting saying to ourselves, well, show us something that we know that just no put a tackle in, gives a wee bit of individual brilliance. You know what I mean? Let's say a cracking football move just to show something that we're moving in the right direction, but it's not happening, eh? And that's the frustrating thing is.
All right, I think Albert's with us now.
You hear me? You hear me?
Right,
Hello.
Hey, all right.
Can you hear me? Aye.
Well, I'm saying hello, yeah. So how?
Aye, but I'm shouting. Aye, we've said about this the iPad with a claw hammer, so that didn't help. That's in bits now. Aye, I'm fine, mate. How are you two?
Good, mate. Good tip. We're just discussing. Billy's got a different view from me, mate. I think our biggest problem is no scoring goals to change matches. Billy thinks it's keeping them out, and I get that. The defence hasn't been great. What's your thoughts on it, mate?
Both, mate. It's absolutely both. It's losing silly goals, especially in big games. It's the silly goals. It's self-inflicted goals in big games. Most of the games, his big games that he's been charged, that's the cause. It's just stupidity, mate. And there's another one on Sunday. But the lack of goals up front is frightening. It's not the lack of goals that's frightening as much as the lack of the ability to make chances and look dangerous and keep pin teams back and just pummel them to death with chance after chance and shots after shot. There's none of that. Absolutely none of that. So that's a big problem he needs to sort. No, I mean how he sorts it. Well, that's not my job. That's his job, isn't it? He's the one that sees the players every day, as he keeps on telling us. And we played Juventus and we played PSV. Do you never notice these teams? They fill the park. We never look if we fill the park. There's no. See when we're attacking them, there never looks an inch of space anywhere on the park. They just fill the whole park, but we don't. When everybody's attacking us, there looks gaps all over the shop. The walk through is pretty easy. So he's got a big job and he's wanting to sort this out, but it's not impossible, I suppose. It can be done. How he's going to do it, not a clue, mate.
Is Albert saying that the shape's not working? Is that what he's saying to you, Billy?
Aye, all day long. There's no with Oxford. That's another thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. We don't stretch teams enough. You know what I mean? We're always wanting to, when it's. I've noticed as well. Big Bolton, they'll get a goal and win goal, and the two full-backs will split across the box and they'll try to work it out the box. And teams that's all right. It looks nice and tidy, right? When it works, but you're inviting teams to push right on top of you. Then, you know what I mean? And that sometimes I'm saying to my screaming, shouting, go long, just go long, mix it up, mix the game up a wee bit, and we don't do that. You know what I mean? But I think half the time these individual errors, mate, it's all down to concentration, and that's when they're. If you're not concentrating for 90 minutes, you're got to get punished. Because the minute you take your mind off the game or start daydreaming, that's when it happens. You know? And it doesn't matter if it's a throw-in or if you're not set up right or, you know what I mean, if you've not got your shape or whatever. If you're not concentrating right for the full 90 minutes, you will get punished because decent players will find you out.
Albert, can I ask something? Yeah?
Go for it, mate.
Yeah. Is there a problem that our centre-half and the goalkeeper touch the ball too much?
Definitely. I don't mind the goalkeeper's the goalkeeper, but the centre-halves, for example, it's touch. When they get on the ball, nobody really bothers with them. They just let it, because it's touch to slow the play down. They slow it right down. Instead of just one-touch football, maybe two-touch at most. They never do it. They never, ever do it. And they're constantly thinking this big, long diagonal ball. Now, that is a tactic to be used when it's fit to use at the right time to use. There's nothing wrong with the tactic, but we can overuse that. When you start overusing it and no finding the players are forward, it's just that's no a punt up the park. That's all that is, a punt up the park. If you're using it and finding your players, that's a pass, isn't it? That's definitely a cracking pass. Nice tactic, that. But you're dangerous with it. It's for a reason. We're using it as a get-out clause here. We're using it as, I don't know what to do, so I'll just launch it up the park and kid on it's one of my diagonal balls. It's terrible, mate. It's absolutely terrible. But But don't abandon it completely. It's got to be used when it's effective. But the trouble is, it's this touch. Watch how many times they touch the ball. I mean, they done a stat, and John Stewart, I think, touched the ball more times than any other player in their team. That's ridiculous, mate. Where's your playmaker? Where's your midfield? Where's your forwards? I want my forwards, my midfielders, to be touching the ball more than my centre half. My centre half's there to stop goals. I don't care what anybody says. They're there to stop goals. Those are the fullbacks in my eyes, but I'm old-fashioned, mate. The old keep the ball out of the net and you've got a fighting chance. The worst you get is a draw. That doesn't seem to be the way anymore. I don't know what they see in this football that everybody likes. It stems from that trumpet doing it, Man City. This football. He's doing it with £100 million players, mate.
I realised you were old-fashioned when you turned up with your dance card at the weekend.
And my sparkly top.
Right, we better get these phone lines opened up.
Yes, mate.
Right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
And you come, Billy, on the same subject, mate.
Aye, always bang on the money. That's tappy at the back. That's no good to nobody, because all you're doing there is, for talking sake, if a centre half's getting it to the other centre half, then he's knocking it back to him. Then he's in 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches, sometimes 4 touches on the ball. Then it goes out to the right, it comes back in again. Then it'll go back to the centre half, and then it's giving teams a chance to get set up. And the teams will see, the majority of the teams that we played domestically, they'll just turn around and say, right, okay then, you take the ball there. You're not going to hurt us. You just knock the ball about. We'll just sit in and we'll be disciplined. And that's what the teams do. To get round that, you've got to move the ball about quicker. You've got to take a map and your maximum of 3 touches on the ball. And when they centre halves, for your talking sake, your Golsons and your Souters and your James Taverniers and your Borners, right? They should be shoving the ball into the midfield a lot quicker. And the movement in the midfield's got to be a lot sharper. And the movement up top's got to be a lot sharper as well. And when you start to move the ball about quicker, you start to disjoint teams and you get them moving about the park. You know what I mean? They didn't know where Mull saying stick or twist. You know? Will we come short? Do we drop off? Do we pick up runners? It keeps them guessing. But when everything's played in front of you, you can see it happening. But we don't play through teams as well. I mean, I think it was Blue Star that mentioned it, and Blue Star's got a great point. You know what I mean? We don't play through teams, and we don't break lines, and that's what we should be doing. And you only do that as if you move the ball a bit quicker and take a minimum of touches on the ball as you possibly can. I'm not saying that you've I mean, all the time it's got to be that. You're going to play
mix it up.
Constantly, mate, but you've got to mix it up, you know.
Aye, I get it. It's like there's nothing wrong with Golston making a tremendous crossfield pass to Matondo. But if you do it every time, it becomes easy to defend. If you only take 3 touches and you move it and you come inside and you look for somebody, it becomes predictable. Yeah, it's horses for courses, tactics, who you're playing against, how fast the right back is, how many touches the left winger takes. All these things come into the game, all better.
That's it, mate. It's called football. We all know it. We've all played football. All right, we've not played at professional level. But no matter what level you play football, football's football. I mean, it's like a 1-2. A 1-2 worked 150 years ago, and it works. It worked on Sunday. We started doing it on Sunday. 1-2s are 1-2s, mate. But we don't want to play 1-2s because that means we need to move. And that brings me to a point that I was going to bring up later on. I think the team's lazy. It's a lazy team. It's lazy when you've got to do the running that you don't want to do. And it's lazy when the 1-2 means you go to play the pass, then move. And you move between 2 players. You don't let one player mark 3 of your players. It's silly. It's stupid stuff like that. It's just lazy play. Letting players run off you. Lazy play. Big Suiter's a bit guilty for that at the moment. I mean, that's 2 or 3 times the European game and the Celtic game, he let players run off him. Not acceptable. Raskin's bad for it. Jack's bad for it. Lundstrom's bad for it. There's a few of them. The boy Fuentes is bad for it. So you sit and say, come on, this is the stuff that needs to be drilled in the training ground. This is the stuff that needs to be pulled up and says, look, not acceptable, guys. You've got to work the full 100 minutes of the game now. You've got to work. And this is where you want your mate to help you. This is where you start playing as a team, know what I mean? You see somebody tired or not playing well, you just give them a hand, cover them, run that extra 10 yards, 20 yards, whatever it takes. That's what you call a team. That's you all working together. You don't have to like each other to work together, but you need to work it together as a team. And that's what we're not doing, mate. Now it's down to tactics, it's down to this, it's down to the next thing, it's down to that he's getting older, this, blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all. That's down to the manager to work out the problems within his team, like age, and he's no fast, blah, blah, blah. He needs to work a system that suits them all. But when they're on that part, they all need to graft together, mate, the whole lot of them. Whatever system that is, they all need to work it. And we're not doing it. We're miles away from it, mate. We're miles away from being a team.
Right, you mentioned laziness, you mentioned tactics, you mentioned... Where does it come in for the coaching staff then, Billy? Where do they become responsible? Now, there's some things on the park the coaching staff are not responsible for, aren't they? You know, football players, it's about making decisions, but ultimately, they set your tempo, they set your shape, they set the motivation. That's what they get paid for. You know, so where's this coaching staff? And I mean the staff, plural. Because let's be honest, it's not just one man, yeah.
Oh, that's another thing as well. Whatever the players are doing in training, Monday to Friday or Saturday, whatever the case may be, they're certainly not carrying it out the instructions they're given in the dressing room before the game to carry it out onto the park. Now, another thing that I wonder as well is, if a manager's sitting watching the game in the dugout, or he's standing on the touchline watching the game, and things are not going right, and if he's given the players a format and a set of instructions to go out and carry out at the start of the game, and they're not doing that, and then we'll change it at half time and all that, you're just gambling then. You know what I mean? The perfect example was with Van Bronckhorst at Parkhead last year. Or was it last year? I can't mind. I think it was the 3 or 4 nothing game, or 4. I can't mind anyway. It was a Van Bronckhorst game. He gambled to half time and it came back and bit him. What you do? They've got to make big changes and big decisions at big times in the game, and they're not doing it. And that's another thing where that manager falls down, because you'll not make the changes when they should.
Mm-hmm. Billy, Albert.
They've got a responsibility to see things going wrong, mate. But once they cross the line, it's down to the team. But they need to stand there and say, look, Suter's letting guys run off him. Need to be told. He needs to be told then and then. Your captain as well. If you can't do it then, you tell the captain to tell him. So you need to look at the players. It's not just to stand back and go, or as Billy says, we'll wait a half time and see this is going to work. We'll change it all at half time. I mean, we all seen on Sunday there that we were sitting too far away from them in the first half. Now, we all see that. He must see it, but nothing gets done. So that's the responsibility of the coaching staff. If a player's no following instructions that he's been given all week, or the systems or weaknesses of other teams you've worked all week, if that happens, it's quite simple. You drag him off the park.
Right. Albert, I never heard that. I've heard it since, but the interview after the game when the manager said, and he said we were too deep, right, in the first half. Why do you have to wait till half time to rectify that, mate? You wouldn't do that in a under-12 school game, would you?
No. So you get, as I say, you get the 90 minutes, 100 minutes in a game, and you're going to waste 45 minutes when the team's playing the wrong tactics. I mean, that's bordering on lunacy, mate. What is he talking about? I feel if he just wants to wait till half time, and then so when he changes it, he gets the headline going, Beale had to put a rocket up them, or we had to sort of change a few things and it all worked out. So he's the headline. He's meant to be a side player, man. Once the game starts, he's supposed to be a side player. Only interfering when he has to interfere. He's supposed to be reading the game and watching what's happening, along with his other crew. They're supposed to be watching it as well. I don't get this set up with that dugout. I know. I just don't get that at all. It's mental. Players are stuck in a corner at the back of the stand. I'm saying, what's happening here? These players are supposed to be paying attention to the game as long with the coaching staff. But I know we're talking about the coaching staff right now. And going to tell me something else. I just don't understand why that goalkeeping coach is front and centre on that bench, dishing out instructions to outfield players. What is this about? I don't get what this is about. And he's been there.
I don't even know if he is the goalkeeping coach anymore.
Well, he's been there for the last 2 or 3 managers, I think. I'm right in saying that. So there's a common denominator as well here. Has he got too much influence? I don't know. I'm throwing mud about the players, knowing it sticks to somebody, you know what I mean? Because I'm that frustrated.
All right, then. Come and join us. Use your thoughts. 0141 356 1972. I've got a question for you, Albert. It's international break, yeah?
Oh, goody.
And obviously we want Scottish football to progress because ultimately it's good for us, yeah? I'm not saying we've got any love or care about other teams, but ultimately it's good for us, isn't it? If it's competitive, it's harder and your team improves with decent standard of matches, yeah?
Yep.
But how do we start sorting that out, in your opinion, mate? Yeah, because the whole thing is just, I don't know. It's taking leaps backwards. The administration, the management, the marketing, the playing, the product, if you like, everything. We're critical of our own team. I don't know if we're just saying this because we're not winning. I think we're fair. If we'd have won that game on Saturday, we'd have still been saying the same thing about Scottish football this Sunday. You know, so what do we do to sort out? Obviously, we need regime change. That's obvious to anybody who's got anything about them at all, unless you're part of a cabal. What's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, how do you get change for the top anyway? That's the first thing. As we say, it's obvious we need change. So how do you get change? How do you sack these people? How do you get rid of them? You can't. They're jobs for life, these people. So that's the first thing. That needs to be looked at and said, hold on a minute. Now, each director, each football club, as they all say, and they all look out for their own ends. Oh, they all look out for their own ends. When it comes to any voting, if it suits their club, that's the way they're going to vote for it. No, I mean, even though it's the biggest thing against Scottish football, it doesn't matter. Suits their club, they're voting for it for their ends and hoping to get their own way. And 9 times out of 10, they do get their own way. So we sit and we get around this merry-go-round, season after season, decade after decade, generation after generation. So how do you change it, as you said? How do you change this? It's going to take radical thought, mate. One thing I do know is you need to separate the business side of the game away from the football side of the game. The two should never marry up. So you need to get professionals in the business side, businessmen. Same as the Premiership done down there. They get businessmen in and they run their product. It's their job to grow the game. Right. The football side there needs to be taken out and run by ex-players, ex-professionals, professional people in the professional game. That's fine. That needs to be done. But you need to look at the distribution of cash coming into the game. I know. It can't be that Rangers and that mob over there just hoover in all the money. I mean, at the moment, they're hoovering in all the money. They win. I think you get money for the Fair Play Award as well. They even hoover that. And I've been doing it for the last 12 years, mate. They've just been hoovering. Every penny that comes into Scottish football, they take it. So you've got one club just getting richer or growing a wee bit at a time, and the rest of the clubs declining. So the directors of the clubs need to look at it. But they never will, mate. They never will. And they'll never vote to lose power. That's another thing. So you're in a situation where it's never going to get better. It's going to get worse. It's just, and people say it's going to get worse before it gets better. I don't ever see it getting better, period, mate. I don't see it because they don't want it to get better. They're all happy the way it is, they know. work it out. I can't work it out, mate.
No,
I know I would do if I had a free hand to do it, but nobody will get that. And by the way, here's another one. The Kilmarnock chairman, to give you a sample of what they're talking about, he's out telling us that no giving the Rangers support, away support, more tickets, taking the stands after them. It's actually made them money. They're actually making money out of that. Right, is that the case then? So why have we still got 4 games a season then with these people? Because that was a big selling point to get them all to sign up for the Scottish Premiership. It's 4 times, so you get the old firm down there twice a year. So that's four big games, you're guaranteed. So they're now telling us, oh, we don't need your crowd. We get more money if we don't give you the tickets. So scrap this 4 times. There. He's telling you to scrap it. The Scottish football's telling you to scrap it because they're all at it now, cutting the allocation. So scrap it. Let them generate their own money what they're saying they're doing, which is lies. We just know it's lies. But as far as I'm concerned, they've gave change merchants laws carte blanche to go and change the game. At least that bit of the game, the Premiership. Go for it. Take them at their word.
All right. Are you all right there, Billy boy?
Aye, I'm sound, buddy. You hear me all right? Aye.
You just carry on, aye.
Oh, no, I was just listening to all earlier. Bang on. See, the league set up abysmal to say the least. See, that's 4 games a season, 4 league format type thing. It's absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? How can the bottom line? It doesn't matter what it is here. The bottom line here is, if you've not got a product to sell, you'll not sell it, and you'll not attract sponsors, and you'll not attract the top TV deals, and that's how the Sky, I believe, that the Sky and BT Sports will be saying to themselves, well, what has Scottish football got to offer? Oh, well, they've got Rangers and Celtic 4 games a season. Right, that can get us X amount of money. Blah, 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 blah. That can get us so many viewers. Blah, 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 blah. What else can they offer? Oh, well, we'll get the Scottish Cup. And that's that. You know what I mean? So it's seriously got to get looked at for the benefit of the whole, not just 1 team or 2 teams in Scotland, for the full setup in Scotland, because the game is certainly no flourishing the way we're watching it now. And if anything knocks, albeit it's going back the way and it's going down the hill rapid, eh?
Mm-hmm. As a product, the top league, maybe the top 2 leagues, is there too many teams out there?
Well, there's too many teams, that's a fact, but they'll not give up their status. And I'm not asking them to do it anyway, so they're one, is it 42 professional teams now in Scotland? So not one of them will say, good idea to put us down to the junior league or whatever it is. I don't blame them for that, that's fine. But don't kid on you're a professional team. And these 42 teams are no 42 professional teams. They're no run like professional teams, and they bring nothing to the party except their own existence, which is neither here nor there. But one of the things you need to understand, you'll get the Sky. We sell our game because we're the 4 games because Sky likes it that way. Well, Sky can go and take a run and jump to the sale as far as I'm concerned. If I was Scottish football and running Scottish football, the one thing I would do is kick Sky right out. Until they start paying decent money into Scottish football, kick them out. We're bending our backwards for these people, by the way, 12 o'clock kick-offs and all this nonsense. Absolute garbage, mate. Kick them out.
12 o'clock kick-offs. I seen how fresh everybody was last week in a certain car, Albert.
Hello there.
So did I.
Evening, Stuart.
Hi, how you doing, guys? All right?
All right.
Hi, Stuart. How you doing, pal?
Hi, Stuart. Hi. Listen, one of the things I would really, there are a lot of things you need to change in Scottish football, it's obvious. But one of the first things I would say, you've got to mind that all the teams in the Premier League, they'll hate us. I think so. They despise us for whatever reason. I don't know. And because they didn't give you ticket, look at Kilmarnock, for example. They didn't give you the full allocation. They're quite happy to run the way they're running, so they'll get their bit of TV money. But what I would be stating is, the first thing you can do with a click of your fingers saying, look, anybody with plastic pitches, it's no on. You get a year to change it. If you didn't change it, you're out. And we'll take the next team up for it. Look at like say Ross County, a tidy wee park, no bad playing surface. So it can be done. So you've got like say Kilmarnock, that Livingston's got it, I don't know if St Mirren's got it, I'm not sure. But there are a good couple in there that have got the plastic pitches. And that's not attractive anyway, because the football's garbage on it. You know what I mean? It's just a leveler.
Is there a place for plastic pitches lower than the Championship? And that would be one of your criteria. That's your league. That's your professional league. 2 leagues. There's a pyramid that feeds into that, but your ground and your park has to be a certain standard. Would that be fair, Stuart?
Well, I would say it's a start. I mean, what we've got the new, as you say, 4 games a season is not any good. But I mean, if you start to expand it, we can get teams like Dunfermline and Dundee United, we get a team back in the day, but not a bad wee stadium. If you give them a saying, look, next year, everybody that gets in the promotion places coming up and they've got a plastic pitch, it's not going to happen. The next one do not get it. So that way you'll get rid of all this crap, the Kilmarnock sort of thing. Because I don't care about you, but I wouldn't watch it. It's just boring. It's horrible football. Unless we score first, and then you can maybe get a chance at a 2 or 3-0. It's either got to be a dull game, or we got a goal, and then you maybe get 2 or 3 at the back of it. It's still a dull game at the back of it, or Livingston's pretty much the same.
I'm actually surprised. I'll take this to Albert and he can come in with some of your points as well. I'm surprised the Players' Union haven't made more about it. Albert, the pitches.
Oh, I mean, they've been told to shut up. They've not really got a voice, have they? They just get told to shut up. Like every organisation, if it doesn't suit a certain club, they just get told to shut up, sit down and shut up. The pitches should be ripped up and thrown out. There's no professional pitch, that, as far as I'm concerned. Most leagues in the world, the decent leagues in the world, would never entertain it. Never entertain it. Which touches onto the all-seater stadiums, the same thing. The think tank said, we need to have all-seater stadiums. What a load of nonsense. Most of the Scottish fans didn't want all-seater stadiums, but never get asked, the usual. Never ever get asked. You're just getting them and that's all it's taken, because we've decided that this is a good idea. Absolute nonsense, mate. Absolute and total nonsense. Now they're talking about, we want standing areas and we want this and we want that. You're not going to get anything. There's only one team that gets what they want. If the rest of us all can swing and whistle Dixie, it's not going to happen. And that comes back, feeds right back into the top of the tree, who's running the game. It's mince, mate. But one of the things I'd like to point out, I don't know if you are aware of, but there is a director's code book that they must adhere to. And in that code book, it tells you that you must, one of your responsibilities for the business is to make the right decisions at all times to benefit your business. These chairmen of these clubs are not doing that, mate. They're voting for things that they don't really believe is the best interest for Scottish football. Now, best interest for your business is Scottish football. It's not just your own club, it's Scottish football, because that's what you're operating in. But they're not voting for that. They're voting for, I don't know if there's phone calls going on or wink, wink, you do this, blah, blah, blah. But none of these clubs are voting for Scottish football. They're voting for, I don't know what they're voting for and why they're voting for it. But it's ridiculous. They're not following their director's code. They really are not.
Stuart, what can you
tell? No, I agree that there's things going on behind the scene. It's like the folk that run the country. They've all been to university, they've all got degrees, but they've not got a clue about the ordinary people, what the people want. So what the normal people want, I'm just talking about Rangers, is they could increase the capacity. It just takes a lot of seats out. I mean, what's the legal requirement? I mean, it's all about this health and safety and all that. But if you look at countries abroad, there's some countries that still have standing. If there was a prerequisite to have so much standing, it's like you've got a prerequisite to have so many Scottish players. If you had a prerequisite to have a percentage of your stadium standing, that would be a start as well. See how it goes. If you got rid of the parks and go standing back again, it creates a better atmosphere for me. And the difficulties are to try and get a decent sponsorship deal. But maybe you have to sort of bluff it out a bit, say, as said earlier, tell Sky to shove it. And I mean, we are attractive as far as Rangers and Celtic go, but it might give the other teams a chance. I don't know if they get sponsors to up their game a bit. Ideally, if you look at England, who's all got to win the league down there? It's down to about, I mean, up in Scotland, it's 2 teams. Down there, you'd maybe say 4 teams. I don't know, you'd maybe argue about that. It's maybe 6 teams. I would say
you say 1 team, mate, if I'm being honest.
I know, but I'm just saying it's a wee bit more competitive. You get an odd bit, but it's just 1 team now. But if you look at it over the past 10 years, I mean, it's probably the same 2 or 3 teams that's won it over the last thing we use. You know what I mean? It's all to do with money. It's all to do with money. I mean, if Rangers had 200 million to spend, we'd go and get all these players. So there maybe needs to be a change of attitude, if you like. And you keep going back to, right, there should be so many players playing for the actual country, if you like. So, I mean, there should be something like to nullify all these bringing the talent in. Say a certain percentage of your team must be whatever born, and not just sticking them on the bench. So I don't know how you do it. There must be some way better than me, the way I would think about it. I've not thought it long and hard. The things I've been thinking.
But the state of the boys coming through in Scotland just now compared to in the past, I don't know if that would improve our product.
I know.
An interesting debate.
I know. I think the big part, the park thing's the biggest thing for me. That's easy thing fixed right away.
But the thing about the players, you're talking about the players and bring a certain amount of homegrown players into teams and all that. Who's that going to benefit? Who's that benefiting? I mean, it's no benefiting us. It's no benefiting anybody, bar UEFA and FIFA. Definitely FIFA, because all their interest is international football. And they're wanting their product to supersede all club football, as far as I can see. So I'm sitting looking at it going like that, right, okay, I've got 3 Scottish boys, 3 donkeys, but I've got to play them. I've got to them. I mean, remember the foreigner rule, where you're only allowed to play X amount of foreigners in your first team? Remember that, carry on?
I know. Maybe not a great thing.
And it's never going to be brought back anyway, so because there's too much money. Because they're going to say Liverpool, Manchester United, Man City, they all rules. They can't sit with their players. Their teams would never look the way they're looking. And if that happens, then Sky will start saying, "Oh, we'll pull out of this. We don't want this. We want this so-called glamour, carry on. We want this. We want the supporters to talk about money more than they do about football."
That's what's happening. Anyway, we've been joined by Smurf. Evening, Smurf.
Hi, Ox. Hi, old Ben. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Smurf.
Aye, no bad. I was just thinking, I mean, very briefly about all this yesterday. And I was just thinking that the value, sort of agreeing with Albert, really. I mean, the value of keeping the status quo financially, I don't see any merit in it. And I'm not here giving solutions, but when you look at the sort of marketing in our game, I've lived down south, and the end of the season, whoever wins, Rangers and Celtic are miles ahead, 15, 20 points or more ahead of the rest. And it's monopolised that there's, there was only 2 games this season against each team. That wouldn't happen, because if the third best team was miles better than the rest, they're still going to play us 4 times and the Manx 4 times. So they're going to end up, you're going to still have that gulf. And I just think it undermines, trying to sort of say we've got an authentic, competitive product. If we weren't playing to each other twice, maybe we would have. The other point is I've never understood, we've got these 3 leagues below us, all with 10 teams, and all anybody's really fighting for is to get into our Premiership. So why do they not just have a League of 20 below us? You have a sort of, a confederacy of diddy clubs fighting out to get into our, but at least it would drum up interest in these smaller clubs. I think it would be a more interesting product, for the championship level, I don't know.
I get the sense of smaller leagues. I understand the rationale between smaller leagues, because when you've got relegation, Smurf, that there's no less meaningful games. The criticism, if you've not got a competitive league, your relegation thing, it can become more attractive than the championship going for the league. But maybe the 12 teams in the middle are playing for nothing, because after 10 weeks they're relatively safe, but they're not going to win the league. So I understand that, but it's a difficult balancing act. But whatever we're doing, it ain't working. And I suppose when Morton came to Ibrox, if we're honest, Albert, they showed in Partick Thistle last season, there's no a gulf between these teams and what we watch every week in the Premiership. I know they upped their game for a cup tie. That's traditional. However, they're showed that there's nothing between them and some of the games we watch week in, week out, Olga.
Exactly, mate. That's exactly right. I don't see any difference. They all come and do their low block and they all look the same to me. It's what I keep telling you, mate. You can shaved apes, you can train shaved apes to play that block, low block. There's nothing clever in it. There's nothing brilliant. It's tactically wonderful. And that Morton proved it. The Wraith Rovers the year before, or they've proved it. Any championship team, and even like the Lowland Championship team, have proved it. There's nothing. It's nothing that style of football. Anybody can play it. Anybody. So, but we've decided in this country, especially the tabloid papers, that this is considered to be genius and deserve that. What? They deserve that draw. They deserve that victory. No, they didn't. Playing that way is boring. We go to a UEFA Cup final 2008 playing that way, and we were saying that's no good football to watch. But you're happy to get there. You're happy to get to the final. And as a supporter, you're saying, "Oh, well done, want to win this now." But realistically, as a product, it's no good to watch, man. It's just no good to watch. And Morton proved it again, as long as many other clubs have proved it. The standard, there's not much between them. But really, no. Apart from Old Firm aside, there's not much between the rest. There's not much as much.
Billy?
I was listening to Stuart's points there. I mean, I've got my own thoughts on these AstroTurf parks or 4Gs or whatever they want to call them, Ox. In my opinion, as they are, I mean, we're at an age that we all remember the Red Blaze parks, the Ash parks. That's just that's all these parks are, a modern day jumped up fancy Ash park. That's it. And all that was for, all the parks were made years ago was for, because when we played through in the winter term, your grass park was frozen and at least you could play on that surface. That's what they were there for. And it's the same idea. And these parks shouldn't be anywhere near professional football, especially the top end in the Scottish Premiership or the Scottish Championship. You shouldn't. No, I get the fact that some teams, they need to survive and this, that, and the next thing. But the bottom line here is, if you've got a product to sell football-wise on the park, then you'll no need these parks. You know what I mean? Because you'll attract, if the product on the park playing football, you will attract a better sponsor and you'll attract better TV deals. That's how it works. And when you do that, you generate more money. And when you generate more money, you can put it back into the club. And that helps the club financially for whatever road they want to get down, be it buying, selling players or bringing up players up through the youth setup. You know what I mean? And Smurfs bang on and all. See this four game per season nonsense. And then you can throw the cup games into it and all. It gets monotonous. I mean, who really wants to sit and watch these games? And that's back to when you flip it back round full circle again, you're not actually going to sell the product because folk will go, well, I'm not watching that again. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ludicrous. It's ludicrous, Ox.
Somebody pointed out, I think it may be myself actually, we were talking about it the other night quickly, Albert, that if you played your second, third and fourth against somebody after January, you drew them in the cup, there was a replay, so you played them 5 times in the league before January. The fixtures worked out that you played them again in the League Cup at the start of the season, and then the fixtures fell that you played them twice before Christmas. You could play somebody 8 times in a calendar year.
I mean, haven't we played Kilmarnock 1 year 6 or 7 times?
8 times in a calendar year.
But see, there's the way that the hierarchy of Scottish football look at this. Billy's saying the people don't want to see it. The big crowds are going to the games. They've missed they're not reading the room. They don't know why big crowds are going to the game. Big crowds are going to Ibrox because we nearly get disappeared, and we're not letting our club die. So it's not for the product. There's very few Rangers fans go to Ibrox and sit there and go, that was wonderful, that game. Apart from the European game nights, but the run-of-the-mill game, nobody goes. But they're selling it. That mob are selling it. Must be a successful product because look at the size of the crowds that's coming. They're misrepresenting the reason the crowds are there. And that's one of the things that really, really annoys me. Ox. And that's 7 times a season. You could probably play somebody in the split. Nobody's interested in this crap anymore. They sold the Premiership. All the reasons they sold the Premiership no longer exist, mate. That Premiership was sold. It's a pup. I mean, let's be honest. It's a pup. It gets sold right at the beginning because they weren't keen and gone. The Scottish teams weren't keen and gone for it, but they sold it. But all the reasons are away now. All of them. There's no reasons left for that silly Premiership. Not even the TV deal. They can't tell us the TV deal. The Sky will not allow it. Well, cheerio, Sky. Ta-ta, bye. The money's coming in for Sky. It's not worth the hassle, mate. It really isn't. But we think it is. It's stupid, mate. It's just silly money. If they're going to pay something like maybe £100 million a season, £200 million a season in the Scottish game, oh well, fair enough then. Right? You've got a say in what's happening in Scottish football, but no for the meagre amount they're putting in there. It's ridiculous.
Smurf.
Guys, could I buy in the new? I'll have to go. Look, just as I said, I mentioned that about the part. That was kind of why my main point.
Add to it as well.
I'll catch up with you later next week or something. Okay.
Just
see you later.
Hey, boy, buddy. Cheers. Bye.
On you go, Smurf.
I'd just like to add that he really, if they were to, I don't know, somehow come up with their own product that they could sell to the BBC or Sky or a broadcaster, and come up with their own company to do that. I think that if you only had to, like, that's the first Old Firm game gone, right? If we only had one more chance to, we could sort of claw that back. We need to go to Parkhead to win. So there's more drama. There's more at stake. And the scarcity of anything increases the value of it. So if there was only two Old Firm games a season, then I think it's only go to embellish for a game and create more an interest, because as I say, if we were only playing each other twice, there wouldn't be the big giant gaps of 20 points between second and third, or 25 points. It would naturally be closer, and again, you've got less opportunity to watch it globally. So there's going to be an interest. I just think it's false economy. And
familiarity breeds contempt, mate. That's what
complete. I mean, I've seen guys offer me tickets to go. Do you want? What's going on here? It could be you'd be cutting your throat to get a ticket, but it's not like that now. It just isn't. And I think that I don't know. I don't know what would work in terms of size of leagues. I don't know, but if you went, say, 2 leagues of 20, and banned all the plastic pitches in both the leagues, and there was a pathway for the whatever sort of conference set up or junior league or whatever it is, but sits below that for the Colt teams to come into the championship, I think it makes everything more competitive. I think it develops youth, and they're playing competitive football rather than sort of languishing in sort of reserve teams or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is, we've got to do something. It's not working, is it? So that's a question for you, Ox. What would you do? How would you change it? How would you change it?
I kind of agree with you and all there about the 4 times a season. I think I don't know what the viewing figures are. Say Sky's viewing figures at the weekend there are 250,000. And I'm just using that as a number, I don't know. So they get that 4 times a season, so they end up with 1 million viewing figures for the Old Firm. If it's twice and it's a bigger event, you might get double that. You might, I don't know. So you end up with the same viewing figures for 2 games as you get for 4. Because it doesn't happen as often. It's better an event. You build up the story, you build up the one at the start of the season, you've won at New Year's Day, and then that's it.
Aye, scarcity, of course. People want it, and it creates drama.
I would agree about the 20.
But we're selling it. We're not just selling it for a Sky. We're selling it for ourselves. We're selling it for boredom. We're bored with this nonsense. We're just fed up watching it. It's crap. I would like the game, if we're going to sell a product, let's sell a good product. Let's change it. Don't follow the Premiership or any other league for that matter. Let's create our own league and let's make our league stylish. Let's make us look football players. Let's promote talent, skill, speed. Let's do that for a change, yeah? Instead of this dour, freezing Wednesday night, middle of January, watching two teams boring everybody to death.
That's a great point you missed in the middle of January. I was just getting near the tune, but would you change to summer football?
I was just about to ask that.
Anything, mate. I'd give anything. I'd think about it and give anything a go. I had to give it a go. But the mob on tap, we know we're talking this. This never, none of this is ever going to get to them. They're getting a. Remember, by the way, there's at least £1.5 million coming out the game every season for the Larry, Curly, and Mo. I mean, they're just clawing it in, and they're no for moving. No chance of them moving, man.
Billy?
But regarding summer football, I think summer football is a good idea as well. You know what I mean? And if it helped the game, if it benefited the game in Scotland, then it's got to be a plus. You know what I mean? I liked the sound again of Smurf set up with the 220, for talking sake, the 220 team leagues. You know what I mean? You could take the junior so much. You could set up that championship in such a way that to make it interesting. For talking sake, the top 10 are fighting out to go up into the Premier League, and the bottom 10 are staying in to go down into the Junior League. You know what I mean? So, and for the junior teams to come up type thing. I'm not saying that's the way that it would happen, but you know what I mean? I'm just touching on that. So if you do the 220 game leagues, I would be offered that and all, because to me, the product would get better as well. And for talking sake as well, we've got players that are sitting on benches, they're out on loan, you know what I mean? They're not getting games. These players maybe could go down a league in Scotland and get better game time in that for talking sake, in that championship, playing against better players type thing. And they would probably 9 times out of 10 they'll probably come back to their parent club a better football player. So I mean the full because the way it is now, it's clearly not working. We all know it's not working, but I think it's all just designed to line certain folks' pockets, and that's the bottom line here, eh?
All right, cheers. Right, well, we've reached that time of the evening. Get yourself a mute, because we're going to have a tune.
I've been in exile for some years, and my eyes filled up with tears when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. So I took a trip along just to hear some famous songs when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. I stood there all alone while the boys all down from home sang of Rangers, that team of great renown. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now on the field below, the boys put on a show, the likes they'd never seen at Molyneux. And it's football, it was grand, from Macmillan, Scott and Grant, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now the league flag must come nearer with men like Bobby Shearer, the way he played at Wolverhampton town. And the world forever after would sing of Jimmy Baxter, for on his head they placed that noble crown. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now I knew it had to happen, I heard a mighty roar, the famous Glasgow Rangers they had scored. And the sky was white and blue, Wolverhampton shook right through, the loyal rampant Rangers had come through. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung, and a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. When the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, thanks for that. Well, back.
Yep.
Yes.
People might be wondering
yeah.
why we're debating this, albeit are talking about it. But ultimately, if the product's better, we're saying it's better for our fans. Yeah? And it helps our team get better. We're happy with that as well. Eh? We welcome the chase. Eh?
Look, at the moment, we're in a position we don't like to be in. We're not talking about to get us out of the position. We're just talking about the brand in general. But again, everybody else, it seems to be outside Rangers fans and Rangers want to talk about getting the product, but they don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it because they all seem to be happy with it. Why they're happy, I haven't a clue, mate. Because they're seeing the same crap we're watching. And they can't. I'd love to listen to talk to the fans and say, you actually enjoying this? Because they can't be. And we knew when the Rangers weren't in the league, by the way, it proved a point. When the Rangers weren't in the league, there wasn't a full grin. There was not one full stadium in any time all through the years that the Rangers weren't there. Not one full stadium. So their hatred lives on, mate. It's they come to hate Rangers. That's what they do, mate. They turn up to hate Rangers, and it's a proven fact. So from that point of view, the product's never going to change, mate. The clan mentality and the tribal mentality of them as well. That's another downside. It's not going to make it change anyway. So we can talk around circles forever, never, but we know what's going to happen. It's never going to change. So something really radical happens.
I think Albert's right in the sense that the league's not competitive by design. And I think, the Mankey Mob have been in the ascendancy for the best part of a decade. So why would they scream to have that changed when they've got European football, potential Champions League football, sort of, that they can get into playoffs, or now that Rangers have established a better coefficient, they can get straight right into it. Why would you change that? Why would you have a more competitive league where that puts your dominance in jeopardy? They're never going to vote for that. Never.
That's why they'll never get better, mate. I mean,
no, exactly. I know, exactly. You've got to test yourself, and that's why they'll never get better.
That's maybe why, if they actually took the time to have a look at their record in Europe, if anybody takes the time now, has a look at their record in Europe since 2003, 20 years, you'll be surprised how bad it is, mate.
I know. It's when you think about what happened to our club, right? And in that same 20 years, we played in two European finals.
True, Billy, isn't it?
Aye, of course it is. You know what I mean? But they like to perceive us. I don't want to rabble on about them, mate, but they like to perceive themselves about this entity that they're not, eh? But that's in their DNA and their makeup, mate. But it's crazy, Smurf. That's a great point as well. 20 years, 2 European finals. You know what I mean? That's
that entity. Sorry, that entity you were talking about, is that separate entity? FC.
That's the one. That's the one, mate. That's the one. I mean, I wish I had a pound on 20 years ago, buddy, to Rangers to get to 2 European finals. I'm sure we'd
get relegated and come back up and all.
That'd have been some treble, wouldn't it?
Oh, dear me.
Yeah.
But the people that run the game up here, they've spun that differently, by the way. They've spun that was a good time for Scottish football. And you've got to look at the. Hold on, Gaff, mate. I'll be back in a minute.
What's up? You're talking. Oh. You're talking, Albert. What's it like, Billy?
I think as well, Ox, see when you look at it from that perspective, when Glasgow Rangers went away doing the divisions, I mean, for the same clubs or whatever the case may be that all voted for Rangers to go down the divisions, we generated every single club in Scottish football for the third division right back up to the Premier League. We generated them so much money, it was incredible. So even when they think about our demise, as they want to call it, you know what I mean? We generated the football clubs an absolute fortune in the way back up through the ranks at the top of Scottish football. You know what I mean? So our away support is not just generated money for years and years and years and years anyway, but I've just done it again. You know what I mean? And I think it was Stuart was on there earlier on. It spoke when he said that we're no liked anyway. You know what I mean? Well, if that's us not being liked, I wouldn't like to see us when we were hated type of thing, you know, because it's absolutely mental, look. So it is, man. It's mental.
Sorry about that, guys. I had to deal with something there quickly. I had to deal with something. Sorry about that.
All right, okay. Right, listen, I think it's great we're having the debate because ultimately we want to see, when people go to Ibrox, we want to see better games of football and we want to win. Of course we do. You know, ultimately we'd rather have a bad game and win sometimes, but over the course of the season, you want to see better games and you hopefully that you'll end up with better players, and I mean maybe even domestically better players coming through our club because the setup's better. Ultimately, we're only interested in our own winning club, but we've got a responsibility because we're a Scottish club playing the Scottish League, aren't we?
Exactly, mate. As every other club is as well, mate. So you've got to discuss it sometime. No, I mean there's three guys in the game: Doncaster, Maxwell, and McClellan. And they're taking that near enough. It must be over $1 million anyway out in the game. And nobody asked what they're doing for that money. Nobody asks. And nobody knows how to get rid of them. So you look at that and go, well, how are they getting held account? Who do they report to? How are they? You're supposed to report to the clubs. But does any club actually ask a significant question or a probing question, or a searching question, or what's their guidelines? What's their measurements? How do you measure what they're doing if they're getting it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing in Scottish football. It's all just a cabal. It's all just a big gang hut that they all party, but they're never going to break it. It needs smashed, mate. The whole lot of it needs smashed, thrown in the bin. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it, mate. But there must be something in it that we're not getting. There must be something there, mate. It's got to be. It can't be the way we're looking at it and the way we're talking about it. It can't be like that. Surely not. It can't be that bad. It can't be. But the product's that bad. We know that for a fact.
I think Doncaster's he's played out his skin where his own self-interest is concerned. I think he's got to be 2 years' notice.
Full wages for 2 years.
What deal? What's some deal that?
Who signed it? So I want to know who actually signed it.
I want to
Who
know
said that's a great idea, give him that. Yeah?
I want to know who negotiated it.
Exactly. Exactly. Whoever it was, you want them at your side.
You better deal with these. Wait a minute, Smurf. Wait a minute. Mate.
Sorry.
That's all right, mate. Just write the name of your back of your hand so you remember it. Yeah. We've been joined by Alex. Evening, Alex.
Good evening, Alex, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Aye, we can, aye.
Oh, I hope it works tonight. Billy, Allbear, who else? Smith, who else is there? Good evening, everybody.
That's it.
Good evening, mate.
How you doing, Paul?
Oh, well. I'm trying to get Allbear, to be quite truthful. I found it right difficult there, that game. I thought I had big expectations at the beginning of the season and that. And I was one of the guys along with you in that. I thought I'd seen a bit of improvement. I was giving Michael Beale every credit to try and get the team with all the signings and that. And I kind of stood by him there right to the beginning. But the last two games, the performances and the results, I'm afraid, would you call it, I've kind of swayed the other way now. I just can't really see where we're going, to be quite truthful. The Celtic game was absolutely dire. You were all there yourselves. And for again to play in there in front of all the supporters and can't even muster up a result against a very, very poor Celtic team as well. It's worrying times for me. I just do not know where he's going now. And this game next Saturday, we go up to Saint Johnstone. If these guys don't know what pressure is, they'll know it now. And that takes me on to the players where I believe they just can't handle the pressure.
You there, Ox?
When you go over there?
You might be right, Alec. You might be right. You're right. I was the same, mate. I was giving him all the benefit of the doubt right at the beginning of this. I was quite excited getting into this season, I must admit. I was looking forward to the end of last season, like everybody else, and starting the rebuild over the summer. And then you're getting players in, and you're this is good. Not that you knew anything about the players. I mean, I can't truly say I knew anything about any of the players apart from Butland. You've heard the Butland, but the rest of them, no, you never much. But anyway, you're still looking forward to it. And then you're here. I watched pre-season and the rest is, and oh no, you had concerns then. But again, it was told it's pre-season. You're going, well, fair enough. It's just about getting minutes and legs, blah blah blah. And it just steadily get worse through pre-season. You're going, I don't see even one bit of improvement right up to the last game of the season, the last game of pre-season. And then we get told, don't worry about it. It's going to all fall into place in the Kilmarnock game, and we fell flat in my face, mate. Flat in my face, and get a good kick up the Ronson. And then that was it. That was oh, hold on a minute. Then the other games carry on, and you're thinking. I mean, I did think. I looked at Desser and I was saying to myself, oh, his movement is good. Maybe, and he's saying he's no fit yet. Maybe that wee bit of half yard will come back into his play. No, it's no. Well, I think we're seeing this. He can run. That's as fast as he can run. So it's so disappointing. Mate. It really was. But again, it's done and dusted, mate. We just need to wipe ourselves down and go on, mate.
I'm with you. I didn't enjoy the pre-season, and there was times. I mean, Lammers showed glimpses during pre-season flicks terms, and Danilo come on against Hoffenheim, and you thought, oh, okay, it's only a cameo, but the boy showed a wee bit. But once the serious stuff started, Alex, we've not kicked the ball. We've got to be honest, mate.
You're right there. It's the only bonus I can see in Jack Butland, to be quite truthful. We're raving there about Todd Cantwell and Raskin there. Then the last season, everybody's looking forward to it. Todd Cantwell looks out of place everywhere he's going. You were at the game 1 minute, he was playing down at right back. I turned around, Ryan Jack was up there playing centre forward. It was just took your mind he was at the school and everybody was in the playground. He just went on there and just done what he's wanted to do. This Celtic team, dearie me, man, the two centre backs, you were getting in there and you thought, this is your chance here. Michael Beale says the three things he wanted was the League Cup that we managed to navigate our way in, the Champions League that we failed, albeit PSV were a very good team, and the final one there was Celtic to go to top of the league for international break. We've won 1 out of 3 now. There seems to be a bit of unrest. You see the players at Ibrox on Sunday, he was standing there, you think he was waiting in a taxi. It's absolutely diabolical. I was there the last time, Oxford, when there were no Celtic fans in there because of they broke all the seats up the Broom Lawn and we played them and it ended at 1 each. I think Big Golf scored, but Simon Donnelly definitely scored for Celtic. But we went on after that. But coming out of there on Sunday...
I think it was Terry Hurlock that scored for Rangers.
Was it? Could have been. But I mean Simon Donnelly scoring. But the thing about it, Ox, we were coming out there on Sunday. It was absolutely toxic, really. Everybody's walking up to go to the buses. Your night was wasted. Everybody just didn't know what to do, or nothing. You come back to where you come from, by the way, and they're out in the street celebrating. You have to take this, and you can't justify it because we're in there with a full house. And this was what gets me. A full house of supporters in there, and they're there for the taking, and we couldn't get over the finishing line. It's diabolical, and we can sugarcoat it the way we want. I honestly believe now, I hope I'm wrong, by the way, but I think his time's coming to an end quicker than he thinks.
I don't think you're alone. Billy?
Ox, I mean, at the start of the season, like, you know, you talk about the pre-season, it's all about getting your fitness levels up to speed and new players coming in, getting a blend and an understanding, and then getting some kind of playing formats and for a formation that the players are getting used to and getting some of the shape. But you know what I mean? We can forgive them in the pre-season, but we want to see some improvement domestically, and we're not seeing it. I mean, we want them. We didn't want to sit here on a show or guys all coming on to phone, and we didn't want everybody being frustrated and getting the team at tight and getting the manager at tight. You know what I mean? But that's the way. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. You know, and as I said, we're 9 games into the league and the cup and the Champions League and all that. We're out of the Champions League. You know what I mean? And we're showing little. And I mean little, if any signs of improvement, and it's not good enough. It's as simple as that. Cheers, it is not good enough.
Cheers, mate. We've been joined by Andy Fairbairn. Evening, Andy.
Evening, boys. How are you? Tell that Billy to calm down. Come in. Hey, Billy, you calm down, son. All right.
Good to hear you, Andy.
Hey, bother, Andy.
How you doing, boys? All right. Listen, good. I want to get things off my chest and then we can move on. Okay.
Right. On you go, mate.
Right. So.
Wait a minute. Make yourself comfortable on the couch, Andy. Make yourself comfortable.
That's all right. No, I'm in the bar, actually. I'm in my bar. Well, outside my bar, actually. But some of the boys are watching that. There's an international game, and I don't know who's playing, but anyway, I'm not interested in it. Anyway, for a start, we were playing 10 years too deep. 10 years to 15 years, but without a shadow of a doubt, because everybody agreed with me, and I says, for the first 10 minutes you can, we're playing too deep here. Push, all you do is push up 5 years, 10 years, 15 years maximum, you know what I mean? But no, anyway. The other thing is, I think we've been spoiled for choice for number 10s. With 3, we've got Cantwell, well, Adjie's away now, and Roof, to me, Roof's a number 10. So there's 3 number 10s. So we're going to sign another number 10, but I know that I can understand you can 2 or 3 players for each position, 2 strikers or 3 strikers, 2 centre halves, 2 centre backs, 2 whatever. But I think one of the problems is he's actually spoiled for choice. He's got too many players to choose with, and again we need a big squad because we're in Europe and we're in the league, go to the cup finals or whatever. But he's actually too many players to think. I don't think he's the game of today. he's like big Steve in the cake shop. You know what I mean? Does he get a cake to pick? You know what I mean? So I don't know. But what do you think yourselves? Do you think we've actually signed too many forward-thinking players, and we should have been concentrating on our defence?
Older.
I think you're right, Andy. You're building a team, you build for the back. Everybody knows that. I mean, it's no new. Everybody knows that. But he seems to want to invent the wheel for some odd reason. And he signed a number 10s. Let's look at the number 10s here. Cantwell, Hadji, Lowry, Lammers, Lawrence, and Dow, the boy Dow. I mean, there's about about 5, 6, maybe even 7 number 10s. Everybody.
I forgot about them. That's 6. I'm cutting 3 or 4. Right, I'll give me 6. Aye.
And so, but he knew that before he started bringing in like Lammers and Dow. You know what I mean? He knew all this, but he decided to bring all them in. And then he said on Sunday there after the game when somebody approached him saying, "You're not playing your players that you bought," and he went, "Well, they're all play sort of around about the same position. You can't play them all at one time." I mean, that's mental. It's absolutely mental. Well, you should buy players that's not all playing in the one position. So you strengthen your team by looking at your weaknesses. Our defence was weak. It was weak last year. It's weak this year. I said it last year when we got into this transfer. You need to strengthen that defence because the same mistakes you make this year, you're going to carry them next year. And guess what's happened? We've carried them into this year. And then we're all looking at each other going, what's happening here? Our defence is rotten. It's just rotten, mate. But he's the man. He's decided to buy these forward players. And good on him, right? They better start producing. But they better even be better than we thought they were going to be because they're going to need to be because our defence is leaking. So they're going to have to score at least 2 goals in every game. At least. Sorry, mate. I went off track here.
No, you're correct, mate. I forgot about the 6 number 10.
Your first point about the 10, 15 yards, I couldn't agree more. Alex, you want Sean, you come and then we'll go to Smurf.
Aye, Andy's 100% right there. About what you call it, the defence would be too far back. We should have pushed on a bit. But I keep getting back to the thing was the guy himself says he was going to look these players on the eye, and he's met them. He explained what it's like to play the Rangers Football Club, and they've gone to the park. The expectations among the support was sky high there to get in. A lot of people, what do you call it, maybe could see the negative side of it all, but I certainly was on the bandwagon with the fella to give him the full backing. I'm still backing the team. All I'm just saying now is when you see these players, and it's right enough what Andy says, there seems that many players for the one position. Everybody was crying out for a centre half. We all said that. I left away back at the time. We spoke about young Deutsch up there at Hibs. We let him go, whether it had been the right one or no. We took young Vidvan on, and you seen him. This is the other thing. He comes on at the Old Firm game, Hawks, and yet we bring him on late in the second half. He should have been fit. He should have been on that park, and that would have been the left side sorted because we had no left-sided players on there. And young Sterling played quite well, but we were all over the place. And he fit Conor McGregor to have the Ronnie Ibrox Park in front of 50,000. Just beggars. It just beggars everybody. It's absolutely atrocious. I know you were asking for pick Cantwell on him. We played them the last time, albeit it was a game that probably everybody says it meant nothing. All firm games always mean something. We beat them 3-0. Why did he change the tactics when we knew we had them then? All these new players has come in and we're all looking at each other to see where the spark's coming from. And I just pray to God now we can do it and start getting on a run. But if he thinks pressure's mounting now, he ain't seen nothing yet. And I just hope the team can roll the sleeves up and give the supporters what they deserve, because we've been right through the mill. This was a year going to be, we thought ourselves, we're ready for 56. I honestly thought we could win the league. I'm not talking what you call it being negative, but just what I'm watching now, I'm really, really dire with it. And that's the bottom line.
Smurf?
I just thinking about his recruitment, and your last year there was 2 meaningful games, the semi-final and the final. We know what happened there. But he did reduce the points deficit, and we beat him in the final Old Firm. And the way he employed Cantwell and pushing him onto Callum McGregor, you know, out of possession, couldn't breathe, McGregor. You get a foothold in the game. And the other thing that's happened is removing Cantwell. Everybody could see last year that there was a chemistry building between Cantwell and Weir Askin. It seemed to knit, it seemed to gel. So the sort of knitting and the gelling of the team, and Big Suter coming in when Golson was out seemed to be, you know, come on to a game. You've got the keeper's been replaced, and I think, you know, he's been outstanding. And you just think to yourself, why would you take the positives, the small gains you've made, the relationship between Cantwell and Weir Askin, and then tear that up to try and shoehorn other people? And I just don't get what he's doing. And I put it this way, see if we go any further behind him before the next Old Firm game, he's going to be removed on, in my opinion. But I've got a feeling if he wins the League Cup, that'll be enough maybe to pacify some fans, a wee bit of silverware, you know, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Billy, then Andy, back to Andy.
Aye, I mean, obviously we want to win games, Smurf. We want to win trophies, but you could be right here. They're maybe playing Russian roulette here with this League Cup scenario, to see how it goes. But I'll tell you something now. If he doesn't get if they think it's bad just now, if he got to Saint Johnstone on the next league game and we don't get 3 points and show a massive improvement, then I'm telling you, all hell's got to break loose, because the fans have frustrated. The fans have voiced their opinion and frustration at the Old Firm game there, and that was a full house at Ibrox. I mean, in all my time watching the Rangers, I've never seen that in my life before, and that goes away back to the bad times, away back in the 80s and the early 80s. But I mean, Alex right as well. I mean, the big fella right as well. I mean, we're at our best when we're playing high and we're playing right in teams' faces. We're too deep. You know what I mean? We've no shape. We're too narrow. You know what I mean? I didn't think Michael Beale actually knows his best 11, Ox. I really didn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We didn't go.
That can be a good thing if you don't know your best 11 in some circumstances, you know. But Andy, in you come again.
I agree with the boys, because you had Cantwell playing on McGregor the last game of the season, or the last Old Firm game, right? They never got a sniff at it, right? So, well, you know, just keep that going, right? You back McGregor out of the game, just don't foot McGregor. Don't let him move. Because we've got 4 number 10s to play number 10. Give McGregor, give Cantwell the free roll in there, then he's on the front of McGregor, and he gets the ball and blah, 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 all the rest. So I don't understand that. I just don't understand how he's overthinking things. I don't know. Do you think he's like, oh, well, I've got a free roll here before this sports director comes in or something. I'm going to sign all these players before anybody else. I don't know. I don't know what he gets through his head. But I run boys teams and that, and I never played football professionally at any level, really. I kind of dabbled bits and pieces. I run boys teams up to under 14s. And that's it, the basic. You've got a plan, that's what you say to the boys, that's what you do. You do this, defend, and then you push up. If you push up, but I don't know. Does he not see what we're seeing? And see the bench. See, I've heard this before, and the boys are talking about it. I sit there like folk for still game. They're still sitting there. The old guy, I don't even know their names. The old guy sitting there, skip one one backwards, and this one sitting there. They don't move. They just sit there. And the Bill's the only one that so I don't know. But anyway, I remember ranting raving a bit.
And
I've been looking.
they had five.
Sorry,
He
old Bernie, you go.
had 5 players playing out of position Sunday. 5.
Aye. They're
It's
all over the
ridiculous,
place. Aye. He's
just
playing.
ridiculous, mate.
He's playing Catwell to the left or the right, and then he's playing. He's got a big shooter playing the left. Shooter's the right side at midfielder.
Sterling.
Off. Aye.
Shooter Jack, Sterling, Cantwell, and Roof are all playing out of position.
No, Albert, can I say something to you? See the boy Sterling, right? He plays out at left back, right? The boy just come into. That's not his position. So why no play him at right back and play Tavernier at left back? Because Tavernier's the most experienced player out of the ball. How would you know do that? You know what I mean?
Because it's too sensible, mate.
No, because the boys coming in. This is the boys having a chance, right? And I think the boy will turn all right. So, all right, your first full game against Old Firm, you're playing the wrong position. So, play him right back. That's his position. And you play Tavernier's been here for what, 7, 8 years now. So he plays all over the place anyway. He's pops up on the left, pops up on the right. He can play centre forward. Why not play him striker? Batman goal. The only place he's no places in goals. So why no a wee bit of? I mean, that boy's just come in. That boy's Sterling just come in. Play him at right back. And I think he had a bad game actually. To be fair, he was the worst player in the park. You know what I mean? So why not play him in there and then say, well, listen, you're moving him. You're playing left back today. You know what I mean? You can bomb doing the left, he's bomb doing the right. You still cut in anyway. Because that's what Sterling was doing here. He couldn't go. He had to cut in all the time. So, I don't know. Anyway, I might be right in agreement. But, hey ho. The other thing I'm going to say, while I'm on the platform here, I've been looking at the next 10 games we play, the next 10 games they play, we've got a better run in them. So, if we can get, again, it's a hard task. We go in our next 10 games. They've got a few tricky ones. They're away to Hibs, away to Hearts, away to Livingston, and away to Motherwell, I think. So this 4, again, it's no. But Brendan Rodgers isn't the same as Big Aggie, you know what I mean? So they could drop points, but we've got to pick up all the points, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. We've got to pick them all up. And then if we get into the next Old Firm game, and I know before even level with them, I know that it's all 4 points in them. I still think we could turn it around.
There's a problem, Andy, is a problem that when you're having these conversations, it's 99% chance that it's only going to go the one way. And would you take a punt in anything if you only had a 1% chance of winning?
Exactly. But you know, I'm thinking, I know.
I get it. I understand fully that, you know, Big South, he's loathed. He wants to. He's loyal and he doesn't want to think. He keeps sacking managers. I fully understand that. But if it's not going to work, mate, if it's not going to work,
I know.
You've
but
got
I'm
to make
thinking,
that decision
I
sooner
can see.
or later.
I see the 10. I know. Hey, listen, he should be bagged. If he gets bagged the one, I'm not going to sleep over it. But I'm just looking at the bigger picture. The next 10 games, 10 league games. I'm not talking about Europe. Like that's great as they think. The South side, that's gravy. But the next 10 league games, we've got a better run in. Because we had a hell of a time last year because we were away to Aberdeen, away to Hibs, away to Hearts. So they've got that this year, right? So I'm looking at the next 10 league games. If we could stay undefeated, and they could drop because they're no great shapes themselves. I mean, they're defending the other place. But and I don't think Rodgers is the same thing with Big Aggie's got because he had them run through brick walls. So but that's me being I played authentic glitches, everything else, and thinking, that could happen, this could happen. But you see, obviously, you kind of yourself, does the worst people like that, I mean. So, anyway, I'm quite. I think he's going to get the game now. I think he's. They're not going to sack him. I don't think they're going to sack him. They're sacking him for now. I think he's going to go game to game, which isn't the ideal, you know what I mean? But
See, what the board don't understand, and everybody's saying it was toxic on Sunday and they've not seen it before. But you've got to remember what the board are not picking up. They think we're just talking about Beale, but that was a 12-year frustration that the Rangers supporters were letting out on Sunday. That's 12 years. We've sat and watched this nonsense for 12 years. Sorry, mate. So you come in there, Willie?
I know. I just says great shout, pal. That's a great shout.
So you're sitting there, they're thinking, no, it's Beale, they're wanting Beale out, they're not liking Beale, which we're not liking his tactics and all that. But you've got to remember, he built us up out of that summer period, and we were on a high, myself included, by the way. I bought into it as well. I'm sitting there, and to get beat with Kilmarnock, it just flattened a lot of us, and you're going, oh, Christ, here we go again. And then he stumbles along these competitive games to right now, and then he gets to Sunday, and we're all still up for it, getting it right. Come on now, we see the state they're in. They're there for the take. Just take them now. Just beat them. A 6-pointer. Walter Smith very rarely lost a 6-pointer. You're going a 6-pointer now. Come on, this is a 6-point swing here. Right, here we go. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you're sitting going, oh. And that's the frustration boiled over. 12 years in the making. Big Al got it right. Telling us to be patient. Beale's telling us to be patient. We've been patient for 12 years, and we're not taking any more of this. That's mediocre crap. Get the team sorted, get them playing, get the players in the right positions, and get them playing a proper system. Let this famous horn break after you keep going on about. Let them go. Let's see what we've got. I want to give the boys a chance, of course I do. But I can't give them a chance if he's playing 5 in the ranked positions. And we're all out of the show. So let the players play. Let's see what we've got. They might fall flat in their face. We don't know, but at least give them a chance. That's what I'm saying. Beale, I'm talking about, no the Rangers support. I'm talking about Beale. Give them a chance. Let them go. Sorry, mate. Rand and Raven again.
I think somebody made the point the other night about Danilo. We don't know if he's good or bad. We've not seen enough of him.
Exactly.
You you can't judge. And you come, Bill, I think you've got a point to make, mate.
Aye, it was just something that Graham Souness said when he was getting interviewed not that long ago regarding what he'd done right and done wrong at Rangers. And Graham Souness turned around and he says, when I look back, he says, my problem was I made too many changes too quickly. And I think that's what Michael Beale has done at Rangers, the new, regarding through the summertime. I mean, because the way I see it, Ox, is he's trying to put a new formation into new players, right? When he should be doing the exact opposite. He should be putting the new players into the tried and tested formation.
The only thing I would say there, Billy, is you're not comparing like for like. I think that the contracts were different there. It was pre-Bosman, and there was the transfer window when Souness was the manager of Rangers. But remember, with the players that finished up at the club, Morelos, Ken, Arfield, the guys that left, and obviously Sakala, Kamara, who else went, Kolak left, and then that's without some of the contracts that came in. And we had to bring in that number of players because the numbers we need to run that squad.
Aye, I get that. Yeah, I get that as well, Ox, but I was just using Graham Souness's thinking as an example of what could be the problem here, But I understand where you're coming from, buddy.
Aye, we got all the new players, and I think it was Allburn will go to Andy with us, and Smurf can chip in as well. Allburn, we're wanting all the new players, and we're all wanting Roof to stay on the park. That sums it up, doesn't it?
It sums it up perfectly, mate. It just sums it up perfectly. And he admitted himself, if Roof's a leader. And I'm going to myself, how can that boy be a leader? He was never on the park. What was he leading? I mean, the sick crew, what was he leading? He's a leader. He talks nonsense, the man. You say, going to stop talking crap, mate. And just sound bites and telling us what you think we want to hear. What we want to hear and what we want to see are two different things. We want to see a winning team on the park. We want to see our team battering teams. We want to see our team running. We want to see them getting stretchered off because they're knackered. No walking off with hardly any sweat in their jersey. They want to see a team playing for each other. That's what we want. Let's get on with it. I can't understand why he doesn't want it. I think he's listening to his own publicity, mate, and thinking, I'm a tactical genius. I'll watch. I'll do something that they're all no thinking about. I mean, football's a simple game. As Shankly said, simple game made difficult by idiots. You know what I mean? It's just go over with the simple football and let the boys play. Christ's sake, it's not difficult. But no, we don't seem to be able to do it for some he's better. He better be able to do it, and he better be able to get them playing, or he'll not be here much longer. That's a fact, mate. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Andy, then Smurf.
I think he's been surprised. He's fit. It's so quick, and actually he's got a problem now because Roof is actually our best striker, and I think he's thought, well, Roof might take October to get fit. But he's actually had some operation. I don't know. He's sick now for years, isn't he? He played about 50 games for the last 4 years. I think Roof's actually put the cat amongst the pigeons thing. He's our best striker. Because that goal he scored, he's fit around that boy and he's against Ross County. I mean, that's just. And then I remember last year he scored one, or was it last year? He scored one he should have, but he knew it was on target. I think Roof's actually spooked him. I wasn't expecting him to be. No, I'm saying, Ox. I think he's get fitter quicker.
I get it. If you thought
not saying, but I think hopefully he is fit for the full season, and that would be magical. I mean, if he was, because he is. So I don't know, but Danino's got to play. The wee Brazilian boy's got to play because he is. And I've seen him. He's quick and he's got a good touch and all that. But I can see that Dessers. He's got good points and bad points. He is a big, strong boy, but he's slow. I've seen him all turn quicker. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's my thoughts.
Okay. Smurf.
Smurf's disappeared.
Billy boy, in you come.
Alex still with us.
Is Alex still there? I thought he dropped out. Sorry, Alex.
No, you're okay, Ox. I'm enjoying it. Just listening to everybody and that. The thing about it is, we're led to believe that he's a system.
I'm glad somebody's enjoying Alex.
No, I'm enjoying the counselling, by the way, because that's all it is. This is counselling now for us all. What do you call it? We were led to believe, I was led to believe, all the fool for me for thinking we were going to win the league there a couple of weeks ago, right? But what I'm saying is, no, this guy that says he's a system, that was the idea of signing all these players that he knew exactly who he went out, headhunted. As I said before, he got them in to get you to play it a specific way. And it's absolutely went pear-shaped. We're sitting there watching it. Everybody's scratching their head to find out what kind of formation the full lot we've got. There's nobody really knows. The basics of a team, you've usually got about 5 or 6 starters every week. We've got it there. We've got the goalkeeper. And there you go, James Tavernier, which I think James Tavernier gets a lot of unfair criticism. That's my opinion. I think he is the light. We know the guy can't defend much, but dearie me, the goals that guy scored, not just penalty kicks, outfield in the park as well. He's running into the box and that. Last couple of years we says, please don't have the full back as a top goal scorer of our club. It looks as if it's going that way again. That Daniel, he's supposed to be in there getting extra training now. He's a Brazilian. And let's be quite truthful, Brazilians can usually play football blindfolded. No disrespect. But I believe he might come good. It's just getting the proper formation and who he sees is going to be the right team to take us forward. And get up at one of all these games is going to be a big ask, what we see now. The international breaks maybe came at the best time for us now, just to give us a wee bit of chance to sit back. Before that Old Firm game, now, what I'm saying that, there were Celtic supporters the night before, absolutely dreading getting in there in the Sunday. Dreading. Hopefully they could get a draw at the best. And there you go, they went in there and they came out with 3 points. I'll tell you now, there's no way in creation, I'll tell you now, we're going to get into Celtic Park in front of 60,000. We maybe could get a draw, but there's no way we're beating them. Because see the first 5 minutes, which they do that we don't do. McGregor will make sure he'll make the first tackle on a Rangers player, and that sets them off. We'd nobody there on Sunday, and that's the only thing about it. We were all crying for a result, and we couldn't get out of the line, and it hurts. It really hurts. I've seen a lot of Rangers over the years, but coming out there, oh dearie me, man, I was absolutely shit at that.
I'm going to bring Mr. Fox in. He's wanting to make a point. In you come, Foxy boy.
I'm just wondering why, as a fan base, we're so impatient. I just heard a comment there saying we've been waiting 12 years for this and that. Do people forget how far down we fell? Not only did we have to rebuild sides, mate, we had to rebuild a full club. And I think we're just so impatient as a support that we want everything right away. That'll be controversial, and I think it's sort of day with social media now. And I'll tell you why. I think that people now have got an attention span of about 15 minutes, mate. See if something exciting doesn't happen in 15 minutes, they complain about it. They switch the channels on the telly. They'll flick it off the TikTok to the next thing. People have no patience anymore, mate. Is that a true statement, yes or no?
Wow. Well, that's a whole show on its own. Model Society, well, do you fancy coming on for that one?
That's Foxy's Friday thought, right?
Right, aye. Well, I don't agree with that at all.
Wait a minute, before we go any further, is that going to become a feature?
No. I think that, honest to God, I mean, you go on the subway, mate, people are that bored on the subway, they sit down, the first thing they do is switch to their phone and watch a film or watch something on the internet. People are just impatient. They want something to happen all the time, every 15 minutes, mate. That's what it's like. Do you agree with that? And football is the same. No. I've been watching Rangers for 50 years, mate. And out of the 50 years, I've had probably 20 years of really good times and 30 years of not so good times. So if you're young and you were supporting Rangers when it was 9 in a row, mate, you've had a big span of watching Rangers good. So maybe it's this time in our footballing travels that it's our turn to stagger for a wee while. That's all. I think the Rangers will turn out good. I think Beale will turn out good, but the rest of you don't.
Right, okay, thanks for that. But you can go back on your chair now. You're boring me. That's 15 minutes.
Right.
Right, but I mean, that's a point about patience. I get that. Yeah, I mean, we're talking early in the season. I understand that. That's no my worry. I think it was yourself, Albert, that sent me the text one night. You say that there's no X amount of games, it's 13 games. And if you look at the back end of the season, it wasn't great neither. So we're trying to be. It's if you've seen the improvement. If we lost that game and we'd hit the post 3 times, got that goal chopped off wrongly, scored a goal that was offside, but still got it chopped off, their goal with 3 or 4 good saves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of this conversation wouldn't be taking place. It's the lack of shape, the lack of cohesion. I'm not going to say the lack of fitness because they even kept going on Sunday, Albert.
They're lazy when they let people run after them. That's my complaint, or it's lack of professionalism. Call it that way. But I don't agree with Fox at all. Not at all. That 12-year carry on. I don't agree with that. I think the Rangers support are very patient. I think the Rangers support are very tolerant. The fact that they fill Ibrox and pile with that money shows you they're patient and tolerant. And they've had enough. They've just had enough of this nonsense, by the way. This mediocre crap. We're piling money into players and buying players and they turn out to be crap. I'm not saying this group of news crap. They'll give them a chance. They've got a fighting chance. Okay, they're not playing well now and they've not started well. But you can't say the Rangers support are not being patient. Of course they've been patient. They keep turning up. They keep turning up and piling millions and millions and millions of pounds into the club. No, I'm not wearing that one. Sorry, mate. No wearing that one.
Oh, this could be a debate for one night. Ali?
I respect Fox 100%, but I'm a wee bit old there. My patience is not in thin now at all, honestly. I hate saying that. I don't get any pleasure running the team my manager done. I'd love for him to turn around and prove me wrong again. But I don't know if I'm getting too old for that now. Maybe I've seen the good times, I've seen all the bad times. You're bringing these young kids up now, and they're looking at you. They're one of the wee kids in the bus, and he turns and he says to his dad, "Do you think Rangers will score a goal against Celtic?" There you go. It wasn't even as Rangers going to win. Wee kid. So that's how it's got to now. Where we were all used to seeing great Rangers teams, great victories, a lot of good Celtic teams and all fairness, and they done their bit. They played away right through and everybody can go about them. With Big McNeil at centre half and John Clark there as a sweeper. Made him out like a world-class hero. John Clark, all he done was sweep. Big McNeil done all the basics. Headered the ball out and scored some goals, what he said. We've got a defence here, we're all over the ship. We're crying out for somebody to command in there. We've got the goalkeeper now, and we need to get it right. Because as I said before, this year, we've got to win this League Cup. And that's no going to, well, it'll give him a bit of leeway, but the league is the one we want to win. And it's a lot now to come back. 4 points down. And what do you call it? That's 6 points down, isn't it? And we've only played 4 games. It doesn't look very good, does
it? Absolutely not, mate.
I think the Saint Johnstone game is going to be make or break for Michael Beale. Now, Saint Johnstone went to their place and got a draw, right? And that's one of the poorest Celtic teams we've seen, and they came to Ibrox and beat us. You know what I mean? So, I mean, my heart's telling me we'll go up there and we'll win against Saint Johnstone, but my head's telling me something different here. And to be honest with you, it's not going to be a good watch, because if we're not going to show the improvement just now with the games we've played all right through pre-season and the games we've played competitively, I can't see us showing that much improvement within the next 2 weeks. Throw into the equation that some of the players are away on international duty, I think we're being against the wind, lads, to be honest with you. And I didn't want to be a defeatist, and I didn't want to sound negative, but that's just the way I'm feeling. I hope I'm wrong, but I just can't see it, because St Johnstone will smell blood here.
Well, it'll be interesting. My problem with that is, and I'll finish up on this, and I've said it all week. See, when you have these conversations, you have these polls all over the country, all over the world, 99 times out of 100, Alex, it only ends in the wrong way. You have the odd one, the Fergie syndrome, when the Man United fans would have get rid of him after some bad results, when about 80, when was that? About maybe 90, maybe 91, and then he turned it round. How often does that happen? You know, this usually only ends up the one way, doesn't it?
Unfortunately, that's exactly. And I hope we're all wrong here. But when the majority of the support go against you, that's a really hard thing to do. I'd pray to God let Billy there we go up to St Johnstone and get the result. But the thing is this team capable of going and a kind of winning streak? Because to me there looks like a wee slip up somewhere along the line, and the fans will just know where it. This is the bottom line. Get tickets out there for the UEFA. We've all bought into them and that. We're looking forward to it. All we want to see is a team on the park that we can recognise and get there and give the support 100% on the park. And they've got to get it right. And his background staff, if you go on about it, Oxford, you're 100% right. You look along there, and it doesn't do on for me either. When you're sitting there watching a guy here with a white Castor hat on, by the way, and he was supposed to be under Arsene Wenger. Dearie me, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong here, by the way. I'm sorry for being rather negative, but I've been trying to hold this in for the last week, mate. It's hard.
Let it out, mate. Let it out. There's a poll you could run, mate. With the majority of Rangers supporters want Beale to turn this round. I think if you ran that way, you'd get at least 90 odd saying, aye, we want him to turn it round. We're not wishing him bad. We're not wanting him out the door if he can turn it round. So if you asked them, do you want him to succeed? Of course we do. We're all Rangers supporters. We're not going to go against the Rangers manager and vote against him. But do we think he's going to turn it round? That's a different thing altogether.
Aye, but I'll come back with another poll. Would you give Beale more money to spend in January?
Absolutely. At the moment, no.
Yeah, so there you go. You've answered your own question, haven't you?
No, but I'm saying that does any Rangers supporter out there
no, we don't
want Beale not to succeed? No, of course we don't. We want him to succeed. Of course we do. But so it's not that I'm against him or anything like that. I just think the guy's his own worst enemy for the amount of talking he does and for the tactics he tries to be a tactical genius. I think he's listening to his own hype, as I said before. I think the guy just needs to get back to the basics and say, right, my right back's playing at right back, my left back's playing at left back. You know what I mean? My centre forward's playing at centre forward instead of all this nonsense he's into. Let them play. Let them loose. Let them play.
Right. Cheers, mate. Last word for your good self, Alec.
Oh, brilliant show, sir. Thanks very much for having me on. Just great listening to you guys and that. I know things are a bit tough at the moment and that. I just pray there's a bit more light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you very much, sir.
Get your chin up. Remember them all. Remember them all.
I know, son. I know you're waiting this. Right, thank you.
Billy boy.
Aye, Ox. Thanks very much, pal, for asking me on. It was great. It's great to be on again tonight with your good self and all Bear. Fantastic show. And as I can say to the Bears out there listening, never forget it, Bears. We are the people.
Well said. Well said. All Bear.
Aye, thanks for having me on again, mate. It's my second session. Know what I mean? Therapy's going well. She's going to let me out the cupboard soon.
I thought you were grounded for a month.
I was looking at that, mate. That was the sentence, mate. But aye, thanks for enjoy the show, enjoyed all the conversations, and aye, Billy's right. Don't let yourself get too down. We're coming back.
Well, thanks to Stuart, thanks to Smurf for joining us, thanks to Fox. It's always great to hear from Fox. Thanks to Andy for Irvin, what a man, and of course Alec for Wishaw, Billy and Albert for doing the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. And thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for everybody for the way they conduct ourselves. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back on Monday night. We'll get a weekend off. We'll be back Monday night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Old School Blue.